Hey there, gearheads. Did you know your car is like a giant rolling science experiment? It's true, but don't worry, you don't need a PhD to understand the basics. Today, we're going to explore the shockingly cool world of electricity, specifically Ohm's law and Kirchhoff's laws. These laws are like the rules of the road for electrons, those tiny particles that power everything from your headlights to your radio. Think of it this way: without electricity, your car would be as exciting as a refrigerator on wheels. We wouldn't want that, would we? So buckle up and get ready to learn how to speak the language of electrons. We're going to break down these electrical concepts into bite-sized pieces, easier to digest than a cheeseburger after a long day in the shop. You'll be surprised how simple and even fun these laws can be. Let's start with Ohm's law, named after the awesome Georg Ohm. This law is all about the relationship between voltage, current, and resistance. Think of it like this. Imagine you have a garden hose. Voltage is like the water pressure in the hose. The higher the pressure, the more oomph the water has. Current is like the amount of water flowing through the hose. More pressure means more water can flow. Resistance is like the size of the hose. A narrow hose restricts water flow, while a wider one lets more water through. Ohm's law tells us that the current flowing through a circuit is directly proportional to the voltage and inversely proportional to the resistance. In simpler words, more voltage means more current, but more resistance means less current. It's a balancing act. Pretty straightforward, right? Just like you wouldn't want to water your prize-winning petunias with a fire hose, you also need to make sure the electrical components in your car are getting the right amount of current. Too much, and you risk frying something important. Now, let's zoom out a bit and talk about circuits. A circuit is like a racetrack for electrons, a closed loop where they can zip around and do their thing. This is where Kirchhoff's laws come in. These laws, named after the brilliant Gustav Kirchhoff, help us understand how current flows in more complex circuits. Kirchhoff's current law, KCL, is like a traffic rule for electrons. It says that the total current entering a junction, like a roundabout in our racetrack, must equal the total current leaving that junction. No electrons get lost in traffic. Kirchhoff's voltage law, KVL, is like taking a scenic detour. It says that the total voltage around any closed loop in a circuit must equal zero. Imagine driving up a hill and then coasting back down. The total change in elevation is zero. These laws might sound complicated, but they're just about keeping track of the flow of electrons in a circuit. Think of it like balancing your checkbook. You need to make sure everything adds up. Section 4. Putting it all together. Circuits in your car. So, how does all of this relate to your car? Well, your car's electrical system is a complex network of circuits, just like a miniature city with its own power grid. The battery is like the power plant, supplying the voltage. The wires are like the power lines carrying the current to all the different components. And each component, from the headlights to the windshield wipers, has its own resistance. Understanding Ohm's law and Kirchhoff's laws helps you diagnose electrical problems in your car. If a light bulb isn't working, you can use these laws to figure out if it's a problem with the bulb itself, resistance, the wiring, current, or the battery, voltage. It's like being an electrical detective. And remember, safety always comes first when working with electricity. Always disconnect the battery before working on any electrical components, and never work on a wet car. Electricity and water don't mix. Electricity and... Section 5. Safety first, folks. Speaking of safety, let's talk about some important things to keep in mind when you're tinkering with your car's electrical system. Remember those electrons we talked about? They're like tiny lightning bolts, and they can pack a serious punch if you're not careful. Always disconnect the battery before you start working on any electrical components. It's like turning off the power before you work on a lamp. It's just common sense. Never touch bare wires, especially if the car is running or the battery is connected. Remember those tiny lightning bolts? They can give you a nasty shock. Use insulated tools and wear safety glasses to protect yourself. You don't want a stray spark to ruin your day. Remember, working on your car can be a lot of fun, but it's important to be safe. Always follow the proper safety procedures, and don't be afraid to ask for help if you're not sure about something. Section 6. Keep exploring the electrifying world. Congratulations. You've just taken a crash course in the basics of electricity, and you're well on your way to becoming an electrical whiz. Remember, Ohm's law and Kirchhoff's laws are your friends. They might seem a little intimidating at first, but with a little practice, you'll be solving electrical mysteries like a pro. And the best part? Understanding these laws can open up a world of possibilities, from diagnosing problems in your car to building your own gadgets. So keep exploring, keep experimenting, and most importantly, keep having fun with science. Who knows, maybe one day you'll be designing the next generation of electric cars or inventing a whole new way to power our world. The future is electric, and you're a part of it.